Hi, I'm Dana, and today I want to talk about feeling out of place as an autistic person. As always, I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not trying to educate, I'm not trying to invalidate anyone, I'm not trying to say this is how all autistic people are. This is just how I am, and I happen to be autistic. We're all very different people, and that's all right. So, a couple of things have inspired this. The first one that started to sort of bake the idea was I saw Keely Hawes post on her Instagram story a little tapestry art piece thing of if women were the ones that were in charge of the world. And that's something that's always really bothered me. I've watched quite a few TV shows and movies and read a couple of books where it's the whole reversal thing of what if society was a matriarchal society. I think that's the right term. What if women were the ones in charge? And even the ones that show that it wouldn't necessarily be better and there'd just be different issues and things like that don't necessarily sit right with me, because it's one of those things where I consume media in a way where I sort of put myself within it. I'm very immersed in it. I'm very much in the thing, it's a massive form of escapism. I very much imagine myself there, and I can never quite get behind it because it's one of those things where I know that I would be counted as a woman, I would be a part of that group. But I've also never felt like I fit in with groups of women. I always feel very much on the outskirts. I always feel a bit strange, even in the situations where I have enjoyed being in groups of women, it's always been the types where they've sort of taken me under their wing and they're oh, we'll teach you how to be a real girl. And I'm okay, yeah, I'd like that, and it's not necessarily a negative thing, but there's always some sort of level of sympathy or recognizing that I don't fit in with them and that they're nice people and they want me to, but I don't. And obviously I have in the past talked about my gender experience, my gender expression, and autigender and things like that, and I do think that's also part of what plays into it, is that I'm not entirely a woman, but I also have the black and white thinking of but I physically literally am a woman. Other people will very much perceive me as a woman. I'm not someone who looks androgynous or anything. I recognise the perception of myself as a woman, The other thing that really inspired this was that I went to a flat viewing this morning because I really need to move, and there's already the general humiliation of I don't know how I'm going to afford this, honey, I'm doing my damn best. But it's also I wore this shirt and I had it I had my necklace inside and I had it buttoned all the way up and I had my little jumper over it so the collar stuck out, and black jeans. I tried my best to look somewhat not even professional, just not scruffy, I guess, and I still just felt I looked an absolute scruff and I'm never gonna be taken seriously. And everyone else seems to be able to mask efficiently, I've talked before about how I don't think that masking is exclusive to autistic people. I just think that we're the ones that are most forced into it and most damaged by it, and it feels like everyone else is able to slip on these masks to fit into the different situations that you have to go through in life, like going to house viewings, hanging out with people. And I just can't slip on the mask in the same way that everyone else can, even when I manage to autistic mask and socialise and talk to people and, smile and try to seem like a person, I'm already having to mask just to seem like a normal person. I can't then do an additional mask to seem like a professional normal person or to seem like a whatever type of person I'm supposed to be in that situation, and it leaves me just consistently feeling out of place and I'm a child. I'm so I just can't do the things that everyone else seems to do so effortlessly, and everybody can tell, everyone else can see that I'm not doing it right. And whether they think that I can't do it or that I just can't be bothered and that I'm lazy, or whether they recognise that maybe I have some sort of neurodivergency and there's just something going on like that, whatever it is people perceive me as, I feel everyone else can see that I don't fit in, and I can feel that I don't fit in, and it just never ever feels like I belong in any situation. And it's one of those things that I do just sort of see as a fact, I've had when I've brought this up to friend groups and stuff in the past, everyone's immediately very no, you do belong, you do fit in, you are this, you are that, and I'm no, I'm not. It's when I was fat and I'd state that I was fat and people would be no, you're not, and I'm no, it's just a fact. I'm not upset about it. I don't need you to comfort me over it or offer me sympathy or empathy or whatever. It's just the fact of the thing right now. I don't belong here. I don't fit in the way that everyone else is. I don't feel like I'm integrated into the situation like everyone else is. It's just a fact. And I think that it becomes especially clear to me that that is just a fact when I'm in spaces that are really welcoming and where where there's other people that I can tell don't feel like they necessarily belong and are a little bit nervous and things like that, you know? Like I've mentioned in other videos, and I'm sorry to keep bringing it up because I know it's like sort of a controversial topic, but I have been going to church lately, and I recently had my first like little like went for like the congregation coffee after the service, and it's one of those things where I'm in a very different position to a lot of the people there, you know. There isn't another person my age that's going on their own that I've clocked onto. Everyone's going as a couple, people are going with their kids, and the vast majority of the congregation are a good bit older than I am. And the congregation's also growing, so there's like regularly new people as well. So it's the mixture of like, it's a very welcoming, safe, nice environment to be in, you know. There's just a lot of different types of people, and every like the rules of being there is that you're kind and respectful of everyone's beliefs the way that everyone is. Like, you just accept the people around you in this space. And it's that combined with like most people here, like not most, I'd say like a lot of people have been going for a very long time and are very obviously like very comfortable there, and have like, you know, reached out to me and welcomed me in and taken me under their wing and been like, oh, come speak to this person, come chat with me. And that's lovely. And but like there are still a lot of people that are very clearly as like nervous and anxious as I am, you know. And it's one of those things where that's just my normal level of anxiety. That's the same anxiety I feel going to the shop or answering my door. But it is, you know, like going to church for anybody, if you haven't been for a while, if it's something you had experience of in your past, if it's something you've never done before, whatever your situation is, going to a new church that you've not been to before, it's anxiety inducing, and people are going to feel like some people are going to feel quite a lot of anxiety and nervousness about it. And you know, it's a new space, they don't feel like they belong and fit in just yet, and having those other people there and being able to be like, oh yeah, same, let's have a chat, is very, very useful. But it's still, you know, it's the kind of thing where I fit in with the other people that don't fit in, you know. Like I don't quite feel like I do necessarily like belong in that community, but I do think that I will get to that point there in a way that I haven't been able to in a lot of other spaces, because it is the thing of like acceptance, just accepting people, just letting them be who they are and be like, yeah, that's a perfectly fine way to be, you know, as long as no one's being an asshole or whatever. But it's like we're spending like an hour and a half together watching the minister talk and then going for a coffee. Like no one's really got the chance to be an asshole in that time, you know. But I think the thing that I've found like very nice and that I really like about going to that specific church is that it feels like a genuinely welcoming environment. And I think that most other people that often feel like we don't fit in and don't belong will have experienced the same thing I have in a lot of different spaces, where people want to be welcoming, people want to welcome you in and accept you and make sure you feel like you belong there, but they don't do it right. Like there's just some sort of blockage there, whether it's that, like, you know, for me in a lot of situations like that, it has been religious environments where they can probably tell that I'm not into their same religion, I don't really believe in the way they do, and they, you know, they want a new member of their little group rather than wanting to get to know me as a person and things like that, you know. A lot of like, and when you had to do like icebreakers and stuff in college and like group projects and stuff, and you'd get the nice people and they try so hard to make it feel like you belong and like you're welcomed there. But it's like, if I belonged and fitted in here, you wouldn't be having to try so hard, you know? And especially that they're trying so hard and it's not even working. And I think some of the times that it's been like the absolute worst for me is when I've gone to various friends' parties. I had a face that people might remember from a little while ago, where I was going to a house party probably once every 2 months or so. I haven't been to one since like literally the start of the year, and I don't know if I want to go to any more, to be quite honest with you. Because it's one of those things where like, I'd have my few friends, my few people I knew at the party, and some of them I could just walk up to a circle and they'd like shuffle over and I'd like get to stand in the group and listen to what people were saying, and if I wanted to I could participate in the conversation. And I still felt a bit on edge. I still felt like I didn't, you know, a lot of the times that like there were themed parties and things like that, and I'd get really into it, and it felt a bit like in Mean Girls when she shows up to the Halloween party and everyone's like, I'm a sexy bunny, and she's like, I'm the zombie of hell. Like it did feel like that a fair few times. So I didn't necessarily feel like I belonged and like I fitted in, but people just also didn't care about me, you know? Like not in like a horrible, like no one cared about me way, but like they didn't know me and they couldn't have given two shits if I was wearing a weird fucking dress or whatever else, you know? Like if I spoke to them, they were polite and replied and I got to know them a little bit. Like they did not care at all what I was doing as long as it wasn't affecting them, you know? But then there were a fair few parties that I went to where like I'd shuffle up to the circle of smokers outside and no one would move. And it's one of those things where I don't have the entitlement of like everyone should let me into every group or whatever else. But it's the thing of like, they clearly didn't even notice me, and I'd like do a cough and do a shuffle, and I just don't know how to fucking integrate into groups, you know? Like, it's not me blaming them or saying like, somebody should have let me in. Like, maybe you just didn't notice, maybe you engaged in conversation, like whatever the fuck it is, I'm not entitled enough to think that people have to engage with me, you know? But it's the thing of like, they clearly just didn't fucking notice that I was trying to like engage in any way. I don't know how I'm meant to do it. And if people aren't being outright like friendly and welcoming of me and being like, come talk to us, come stand in this group, I'm so unable to integrate myself into any group or act like I belong in a space. And the amount of environments that I've been in, the amount of like fucking school discos and like random hall events and like just random shit throughout my life where everything's happening, you know, like everyone's talking to each other, people are playing games, things are going on. Like I used to go to a young carers group and people like, that was in a big hall, and I would just like sit or stand to the side and watch things happen. And it's not that I don't want to be a part of it, because I do, but I want to be a natural part of it, you know? I don't want an adult or like, now that I am a growing up like the rest of them, I don't want someone to have to come over and integrate me into the group and make me welcomed and make a whole, you know, not that people do make a whole thing of it, but I don't want someone to try to integrate me and make it feel like I belong and like I'm a part of things when it still doesn't feel that way afterwards, and it feels like just so much effort for absolutely no payoff. And like, it's been especially difficult when I've gone to like queer events and queer game nights and stuff, and I still just find it so fucking difficult to speak to people, and I still don't feel like I belong, even though it's, you know, a lot of them are situations where it's like, these are people like me, these are like other neurodivergent people, other queer people, they are very much people like me, but that also means that they're sharing in some of my issues and some of my anxieties, and they like, you know, as much as we might understand each other, that just makes it all the more fucking difficult to actually communicate to each other. So you just end up with entire rooms where like 90% of the people there feel out of place and like they don't belong and like they don't fit in, and it's really fucking hard and weird and difficult. I don't know how you're meant to solve it, because it is just real fucking hard. And yeah, we've got another video that actually does have like a golden silver lining at the end, because it is one of those things where, as much as I do feel like that is like 95% of situations and events in my life, it does make it all the more like really nice and beautiful and really feel like affirming and validating and just a really glorious, beautiful feeling when you do find the people that you fit in with, and you can like, you know, the times that I went to parties where it was little groups that I knew and that people like interacted with me and it felt like I fit in. I did have a few parties where it really felt like I fitted in and belonged there, and I was like, yes, I found my people. You know, there's been plenty of times that I've done things with friends and been like, yeah, I belong. This is, I don't feel out of place, and I don't feel weird, and I don't feel like I should just go home because this is worse than sitting in my room alone feeling lonely. You know, like when those times do happen, it feels so fucking magical and lovely and delightful, and I remember them forever. It's great. And like, some of those situations are incredibly simple, you know, like I don't sing or dance in front of people, so if I do like a little dance with a friend, that feels like a really special little moment for me, where like I felt like accepted and like I belonged enough in that moment to be able to do that. Like in America, there was a point where I sang along to a song in a car with two of my friends that were over there with me, and that was, you know, like that was a really golden, beautiful moment for me. Like that's like the thing that I'll play when I die and my life plays back in front of my eyes. I don't know why I got morbid there, but you know, like it does mean that like some of the little moments, and like there's been some big moments where like at parties and like I like a few times that I've gone to see my friends play gigs, and like I've gotten to see my friend play their music on stage, and then they've come straight back over to me and I've been like, yeah, I'm kind of like cool and like in it here, you know, like there have been times, and it has been really lovely, and I do think it does, you know, amplify how good those times feel. But it would also be nice to not feel like I don't belong 95% of the time. You okay? So yeah, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do like the video, and if you haven't already, it'd be really cool if you wanted to subscribe to my channel here. I post videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at the minute. I am intending to continue keeping up with it. I'm doing my best. And I also post nearly daily over on TikTok and every now and again on Instagram. Instagram's the fun place, so that's where I post the really like fun, like, look at me go guys, and none of the bad stuff goes on there, because that's where people that know me in real life follow me. But yeah, there's those. I will also link down below my Patreon and Ko-fi if you would like to donate money to me. As always, there is no pressure to you, do not have to. I really enjoy that my content is free and accessible to anyone who wants to engage with it, and I intend for it to stay that way, which means that currently the only perk for Patreons is that you get early content. But I have a few more creative projects that I'm working on at the minute that you would get like early sneak peeks of before. Honestly, I'm probably gonna start showing you some stuff over there way before I even like announce it over here in any like proper capacity. So yeah, like my Patreon's actually about to become quite fun, I think, if you would like to be over there. But everything will eventually end up on here because there is no pressure for you to pay me. You do not have to. You will get the same content that everyone else does, but I do also want to actually provide something for the people that are paying me so they do get it early. I don't want to like gatekeep content or anything, you know, it does make me a bit nervous. But that is today's video. We are done, it is over. Ali is going to her new home on Saturday. I'm so sad that she's leaving, but I do think it will be for the best for both her and for Otis, and her new owners are absolute delights that are so excited to get to have her. So this is the last time you guys are gonna see Ali, and I'm very, very sad about it, but it's definitely for the best. So whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.